Okay, guys. So good evening. Welcome back. We will continue with our session, guys. So today is day 12 session. So day 12 session, and today the date is 24th of your October 2025, and the timing is evening 7:04 p.m. IST. So guys, today is day 12, and we would be covering some very important topics today in Linux. Okay. So before getting to today's session, let us try to quickly recap what we covered on day 11. So day 11, basically we started with the here operators, right? And as I said, right, like we will be covering few more commands in our upcoming session, as well as what happened that we will have to cover even the network based command also, which I will see if in case if I try to cover today, I'll cover it today, or else we will be covering it in tomorrow's morning session, right? And after that, like we try to understand about some of the things in the redirection operators, and then like we try to see how the add user command works, and the difference between add user and the user add. This is something which we had discussed yesterday, right? The difference is that add user will try to create the complete profile. It means that under slash home, whatever the profile has to be created, right? That would get created. Okay, whereas user add, it will not, it will just try to create a user account with the password, but later all the other things which the creating the home account, everything, you have to do it manually. So it is not a recommended way to use the user add command. So user add command, we don't use it normally. We always use the add user command, which will create the complete profile of that user account, right? And one thing very I didn't told about, let me continue from there itself. So what I didn't told about add user is that basically what happened, right? In case of Linux users, okay, there are 65,535 users. So it means that you can create so many user accounts. So what is the maximum number of user accounts which you can create in Linux or in Unix? Is 65,535 in a single operating system. It is configurable. Actually, you can even increase it also. So, and these are the user account, guys, in which actually 0 to I can say 999 are actually allocated. These user accounts are already allocated. So this user account, whatever we are saying, right, this we call the user ID, UID, or just say ID we say. You can say UID, ID, or sometimes people also says EUID, effective user ID. Also they will say it. Now, 0 is always for the root user. So these UIDs are the numbers like 0 to 65,535. 0 to 65,535. Out of which 0 to 65,535, 0 to 999 is allocated by your system itself, or by your operating system itself, where the user ID 0 is always allocated to root user only. So root user is the first user in your Linux operating system, who is a system admin, right? Who is a super user. So 0 is a user ID which will be allocated for always for the root user. And remaining all other users from 1 to up to 999, these are allocated for the system users. Later, after 999, so the next number comes is 1000. 1000 number will be allocated for the normal users or pseudo user. Normal user or pseudo user. Okay, so now the thing is that, guys, like when a user accounts are created, right? Basically, what happened from 1000 to be given. Since what happened? Yes, sir.
There are some files which root user can't access to. What are the files?
Can you tell me what are those files which user can't access it? Can you tell me the file names?
I forgot that. That's why I'm
No,
asking.
there are no files which a root user cannot access it. He can access any file. He can even access the encrypted file also. That's what he's been called as a super user, right? He's a system admin, right? Root user.
Okay.
Yeah. There are no files, sir, which he can't access, which the root user can't access. All the files, all configuration files, everything can be accessed by the root user. But normal user or pseudo user, some of the files, they cannot access it actually. They don't have permission to access it. Only the root user have to give him the specialized permission to access those files. It's a good question what I've asked. Just try to dig and try to get me those files which a root user can't access it. We'll able to discuss on that. Okay, Krishna? Thanks for that question. It's a good question. Let us see. Even I'll also try to get into that. Yeah, Imanshu, go ahead.
Sir, when you are creating, suppose two users by the add user command, then how it is decided how much space would be allocated to each user?
There's nothing like a space allocated to the user, man. It is something like it's a profile you're getting created under the slash home.
Okay.
See, whenever a user would be given whatever whatever the system provides the storage and the memory, all can be accessed by the user. All can be accessed by the user. Say, for example, when you're installing Linux, either you install Ubuntu Linux or you install Red Hat or you install CentOS. Basically, we create a partitions actually, right? Suppose, for example, if you create a slash home partition and if you give 100 GB as a disk space for it, when we are creating user accounts, right? Like Rajesh, Mahesh, Suresh, whoever users accounts are getting created, he will be having an access to this entire 100 GB of disk space. So this 100 GB of disk space will be allocated for the all users actually. Even the root user can also access 100 GB of disk space. But suppose assume that you are creating a separate partition for the slash, separate partition for the slash. This separate partition slash, it can be used only by root user and sudo user. But what other memory is the RAM memory? The RAM memory can be completely used by all users. Either it could be root user or either it could be normal user or sudo user. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Any question is going on to your mind, Himanshu? I feel like there is some questions are there in mind.
No, sir. Now it is cleared. I was confused with this thing only.
ठीक
Like
है.
it is.
यूजर क्या होता है मानचो? यूजर क्या होता है? सिर्फ वो एक वो सी क्यों हम लोग यूजर क्यों क्रिएट करते हैं? वाई वी हैव अ यूजर इन सिस्टम? क्योंकि हम जो भी सिस्टम हमें जो रिसोर्स प्रोवाइड करता है, राइट, वो सब एक्सेस करने का हम लोग यूजर अकाउंट क्रिएट करते हैं. यूजर लॉग इन करता है, उसको एक सेट ऑफ परमिशन दिया जाता है, उसको एक होम डायरेक्टरी दिया जाता है जहां पर वो बैठ के अपना फाइल्स और डायरेक्टरी क्रिएट कर सके और जहां से वो अपना कुछ भी काम कर सके. वो अपने होम डायरेक्टरी में एक स्पेसिफिक प्लेस में ही विल बी गिवन kind of a place where you can sit and you can work it actually. And that is what we call the home directory, we say. Usually slash home is a home directory for all users actually, or normal user or sudo user. For root user, the home directory for the root user is slash root. Slash root is a home directory. Home directory for the root account. Okay. So now the thing is what happened, right? Now slash root, who's a super user, who's a system admin, he has an access to the entire file system. He has an access from the slash itself. So root user has an access to the slash file system. Even sudo user also has an access. But whereas for the normal user like Rajesh, Mahesh, Suresh, only up to slash home he has an access. Slash home में जो भी होगा वो access कर सकता है by that specific user. उसके बाहर वो नहीं कर सकता एक्सेस. उसके अलावा ओके टेम्प में कर लिया, ठीक है, स्लैश ओपीटी में कर लिया, स्लैश मीडिया में कर लिया, स्लैश रन में कुछ कर लिया, राइट. उसके बाद स्लैश ईटीसी में कुछ फाइल्स एक्सेस कर सकता है. नॉट ऑल द फाइल्स एक्चुअली. कुछ कुछ परमिशन दिया जाता है फॉर अ नॉर्मल यूजर वेयर ही कैन गो एंड ही कैन डू एनीथिंग इन दिस अदर डायरेक्टरी इन द फाइल सिस्टम. ओके. But whereas what happened, अगर normal user को बोला जाए राजेश can a normal user can edit any configuration file etc, no, he will not be given unless until you give specific permission. ठीक है. For example, suppose I want to do some changes in the slash file directory, a normal user can be given, no, he can't be given. Under the slash user, not exactly, he will not be given. Even for example, जैसे हमारा सारे कमांड स्लैश यूजर बिन में है. assume that a normal user he created his own command. He created his own command. जैसे मैंने अपना कमांड क्रिएट कर दिया समथिंग, सम कमांड्स लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल फ्लाई कमांड, सम फ्लाई कमांड, आई क्रिएटेड दिस फ्लाई कमांड. मुझे इस कमांड को स्लैश यूएसआर बिन में प्लेस करना है. आई हैव टू जस्ट मूव इट. आई कांट मूव इट आल्सो बिकॉज आई डोंट हैव परमिशन टू मूव इट. तो मुझे सूडो परमिशन या रूट परमिशन की जरूरत पड़ती है टू मूव दिस कमांड टू दिस पोजिशन. So what I'm trying to tell that normal user will get a very limited access because he will be sitting at his home directory working, whereas a root user has an entire access to the entire system, all file system. He has a complete control on it actually. That's the reason root user can mount any file system. He can increase the disk space, he can decrease the disk space, he can clear off a lot of cache memories what is there in the RAM memory. He can even virtual stat memory जो होता है उसको clear कर सकता है. There are a lot of things where the root user can do it. Even the sudo user to some extent he can do it. Normal user ये सब नहीं कर पाता. That's the reason when a normal user stuck with any users, or sorry, with any permissions or with any clear cache issue or any mount issue या disk space issue जब भी आता है, so what the normal user will do that we will try to create a ticket. एक ticket रेस करते हैं. वो टिकट जाएगा, वो टिकट को लेगा, उस सिस्टम में रूट यूजर एक्सेस रहेगा, वो जाके वो पूरा क्लियर कैश करेगा, जो भी करना है, डिस्क इंक्रीज करना है, या कोई करप्ट हुआ है, कोई सेक्टर या डिस्क करप्ट हुआ है, उसको रिपेयर करना, इज ऑल टेकन केयर बाय द रूट यूजर ओनली और सिस्टम एडमिन. ठीक है हिमांशु?
Yes, sir. Noted.
Okay. Yeah, good question, man. Good. So what I'm trying to tell that in a system we have this much of user, out of which 0 to 999 is this IDs we call it the user ID, or we call it EUID, effective user, is allocated to this users actually. From 1000 onwards, you could see the normal user accounts are created. Now while installing Linux, हम तो इंस्टॉल नहीं करते हैं. हम लोगों ने डायरेक्ट क्या किया है, वी हैव वेंट टू द क्लाउड अकाउंट एंड वी आर यूज्ड रेडीमेड जो लिनक्स पड़ा हुआ, जो इमेज पड़ा, उसको यूज करके हम लोग लिनक्स को बूट करके अप कर रहे हैं, राइट. सो हम लोग कोई इंस्टॉलेशन नहीं कर रहे हैं, कोई इमेज है, उस इमेज को हम लोग लोड कर रहे हैं बस. वो इमेज लोड होते ही क्या होगा कि हमें ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम एक्सेस मिल रहा है. आई मीन यू आर एबल टू गेट एन एक्सेस. एंड हमें पता है, लाइक व्हेन वी ट्राई टू लॉन्च द Ubuntu in my AWS account, मुझे पता है whenever I want to log into the Ubuntu, I have to use the Ubuntu user name with the key I have to use, right. Similarly, अगर मैं CentOS लॉन्च करता हूं, तो CentOS लॉन्च करने के बाद the normal user which is used is to log in is CentOS user and with the key. तो हमें की और यूजर नेम पता चलता है, उससे हम लोग लॉग इन करते हैं इस मशीन में, सर्वर्स में. सो इंडस्ट्रीज में भी ऐसे ही होता है. whenever you are given any access to this server, there are two things are there. One is that either they will be given a key to you to log in. Again, this also rarely happens, because that they will giving a key to any user is a risky task actually. So that's what happened in the industry also. They hesitate to give the key to you. Instead, what they do that, as I said, that we will have a jump server, right? Or we call it, as some people call it, a bastion server, right? So these are the servers we are having, or we can call it a jump server, bastion server. There's one more is there, stager. Say some people call it stager also. सो ये सर्वर में लॉग इन करते हैं. इस सर्वर में सारे अकाउंट, जैसे हमारी टीम में 10 बंदे हैं, 10 people are there, all the 10 people will have an access to this jump server or bastion server. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मेरा बहुत पुराने कंपनी में सर्वर था, VLDDUMP00.dev.quintra.com. ये एक सर्वर नाम था, इसमें मेरा अकाउंट था, ऐसा था, और मैं पासवर्ड देता था raj@123, ऐसा मैं पासवर्ड सेट किया था. तो व्हाट आई विल डू दैट, आई विल लॉग इन टू दिस मशीन, into this VLD dump00 by using SSH. जैसे लॉग इन करता था, एक्सेस मैं अपना यूजर नेम देता था, अपना पासवर्ड देता था, ऐसे लॉग इन कर लेता. आई टू लॉग इन एंड दिस बिकॉज जंप सर्वर, बेस्टन और स्टेजर. सो स्टेजर में लॉग इन करता. फिर बाद में से यहां से कोई भी सर्वर लॉग इन करना हो, मैं डायरेक्ट SSH करता भाई, SSH करता डायरेक्ट उस सर्वर पे, जैसे कि client 100.dev.quintra.com. ऐसा लॉग इन करते ही मैं लॉग इन कर लेता. सो इट डजंट आस्क मी एनी पासवर्ड व्हाइल डूइंग SSH टू दिस. और जैसे ही जैसे मैं कंप्लीट कर लिया सब टास्क, आई टू जस्ट एग्जिट फ्रॉम इट, जस्ट एग्जिट कमांड, आई टू एग्जिट फ्रॉम इट एंड अगेन आई टू बैक इनटू माय जंप सर्वर. तो ऐसे ही होता है हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. दे विल नॉट गिव एनी की और दे विल नॉट गिव शेयर एनी यूजर में द पासवर्ड. इंस्टेड व्हाट दे डू दैट, दे क्रिएट अ स्टेजर और दे क्रिएट अ बेस्टन सर्वर. उसमें सारे अकाउंट क्रिएट हो जाएगा. और ये सारे सर्वर जो सर्वर्स है, जैसे 500 सर्वर्स है, 100 सर्वर्स है, 1000 ऑफ सर्वर्स है, जिस सर्वर में आपको SSH करना हो, इट विल अलाउ यू टू डू इट. Right? How it allows to do so many servers, you can log in it, वो हम लोग बाद में पढ़ेंगे. We'll try to learn those things in the later thing, how you can do SSH to so many servers actually. और sir, can we automate certain things by doing all these things? Yeah, automation भी बहुत काम है इसमें. We can automate also many things. तो वो सब क्या है, we will learn in shell scripting class में हम लोग पढ़ेंगे. Okay. Now coming back here. Now coming back here, as I said, right, यहाँ पर क्या होता है कि user accounts create करते हैं. You know that when you installing the Ubuntu, by default when you install the Ubuntu. So guys, one more thing I want to tell you. There are various ways of installing the operating system. I'm not going in a very deeper state on a deeper way of how to install the Linux and all. वो बहुत basic हो जाएगा, but we can still do it because whenever we are having, whenever we want to learn everything in a very deeper way, always first we have to go and install the operating system. That is the first point. हम लोग यहाँ पर नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज ये मेरा विंडोज मशीन है, यहाँ विंडोज में मैं इंस्टॉल नहीं कर सकता, राइट. तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, व्हाट आई कैन डू बेस्ट, मैं एक क्लास ले लूंगा. आई विल ट्राई टू प्लान टू टेक अ क्लास वेयर विल इंस्टॉल द वर्चुअलाइजेशन टू लाइक VMware इंस्टॉल करेंगे. ओके, VMware और सन वर्चुअल बॉक्स इंस्टॉल करेंगे. सन वर्चुअल बॉक्स, इट इज अ वर्चुअलाइजेशन टूल है, दिस अ वर्चुअलाइजेशन टूल. Then what we do basically, guys, once we install it actually, then what happened, right? We can install any kind of a operating system, either Windows or Linux. We can install on top of this VMware or Sun VirtualBox, right? So, for example, if I take Ubuntu, I will take Ubuntu. I will take 24.04 version, LTS version we say. So this I'll take. Basically, what happened, I need an image actually. मुझे एक image चाहिए. मुझे Ubuntu 24.04 का इमेज चाहिए. मैं क्या करूंगा, डायरेक्ट ubuntu.org में जाके मैं क्या करूंगा, ये इमेज को डाउनलोड कर लूंगा. आई डाउनलोड दैट इमेज एक्चुअली, और इसको क्या करूंगा, पेन ड्राइव में सेव करके, पेन ड्राइव में सेव करके, सॉरी आई विल सेव इट इन पेन ड्राइव. आई विल सेव द इमेज इन द पेन ड्राइव and I will make it as a bootable device. So for the pen drive, I'll make it as a bootable device. Now, what happened, guys? Whenever we are installing Linux or whenever installing Windows, right, you can install any operating system. Basically, we can install directly through image. I'm sorry guys, I'm taking little time, but let me complete this very quickly. Installation करने के time पे हम लोग क्या करते हैं? We can install through the bootable device. जैसे for example, I have a pen drive. I know that my operating system image is in the pen drive, OS image is in the pen drive, and that should be bootable. तो क्या होगा बोल तो, you can able to install your operating system with the help of a pen drive where you have kept the bootable image. जैसे Ubuntu image रख दिया, Red Hat रख दिया या CentOS रख दिया, right? This is one thing. Second क्या होता है, we said that Rajesh, can we install through CD, right? I have a CD disk, right? मेरे पास CD disk रहेगा, उसमें भी क्या है, मेरा Ubuntu रहेगा. कैन आई इंस्टॉल? या यू कैन डू इट, बट क्या है, हमारे सिस्टम में आजकल CD ड्राइव आ नहीं रहा है, राइट? CD ROM ड्राइव्स और डिवाइस आर नॉट कमिंग बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट अ गुड प्रैक्टिस नाउ. इज लॉट ऑफ पीपल डोंट यूज इट. CD ड्राइव वगैरह वो जमाना गया अभी. फ्लॉपी तो गया ही गया. CD ROM भी आजकल, CD ड्राइव भी नहीं है आजकल. ओके तो वो भी नहीं है, तो वो तो गया. सो एवरीवन पीपल नो दैट ओके नाउअडेज वी आर यूजिंग ऑल दैट USB डिवाइस ओनली. एक छोटा SD कार्ड ले लिया, SD कार्ड के अंदर एक चिप रख दिया, वो चिप के अंदर भी हम लोग अपना बूटेबल इमेज करके रख सकते हैं. हम लोग क्या करते हैं, SD कार्ड का एक स्लॉट होता है, वहाँ इंसर्ट करते ही आपका सिस्टम डिटेक्ट करने लगेगा उसको. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, राइट? CD ROM एनीवे इट इज नॉट देयर, वी डोंट डू इट. और राजेश, कैन आई डू एनीथिंग थ्रू द नेटवर्क? नेटवर्क में कोई सर्वर है जहां पर मैंने सारे इमेज रख रखा है, OS इमेज रख रहा है. कैन आई from my machine, that is my laptop, can I connect over the network to that server and then I can install it? Yes, you can do it. This is what usually in the companies they do it. They'll keep it, that image, everything over the network in some server. Basically it will be something like an FTP server. वहां से क्या करेंगे, they'll try to connect to that FTP server, load the OS image over the network actually. This is the safest and this is the best practice what they do it, right? So now you know that when you go in the organization, what they do, guys, they will do everything. आपका जैसे आप लैपटॉप ओपन करोगे, so what happened, right? लैपटॉप जैसे आप ओपन करोगे, what happened, right? You will be connected to the Wi-Fi network in the company. You will be connected, right? You will be connected, and that laptop already has a Windows image, Windows operating system here, but there are some softwares are required, right? So what it will do that, it will, as soon as you connect and as soon as you give user password, you log in it and you try to connect to the Wi-Fi, immediately क्या करेगा, what it will do that, it will try to connect to the what you call software repositories in your company, and आपका system क्या करेगा, laptop, it will start configuring. It means that all the dependent software, what are the software is required for you, right? जैसे VPN का software हो गया, Cisco का VPN security software हो गया, या फिर आपका Microsoft Word, Excel जो भी हो गया, आपका जो भी there is some encryption software is required for the whole system. Zscaler software हो गया. So what happened that they'll keep everything into the repository and it will start installing everything. You could see that in next 45 minutes everything would have been configured. Everything your laptop is up and running. Now what you can do that you can able to launch anything. You can able to open your Microsoft Office. You can open the Microsoft Teams to connect to the Microsoft Team chats. You can open the mail and try to configure the mail, or need not to configure anything. Already by default it will be set. You have to just launch it. You will see that all mails will start flowing into your Microsoft Outlook, right? So what I'm trying to tell that all these things are happening over the network only. So network is the one which is basically used. Or else some machine what happened, right? As soon as you take a laptop, they would already configured everything. कुछ भी नहीं करना, just log in करना है, and you would see that everything is available for your requirement, for your work requirement. All softwares will be available. Even Visual Studio Code will be available. Even Java would have installed in that machine. Even Python is installed. Everything installed. You need not to worry. Even Git is also installed. So many softwares, everything will be by default will get installed. They would have did everything over the network only before they gave the laptop to the new candidate, to the new hiree. They would have configured everything. So only few things only you have to configure, like VPN security, you have to set it, everything, right? Authentication, you have to set it actually. Third-party authentication like Okta Verifier or Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator. वो कुछ थोड़ा बहुत आप अपने मोबाइल में करना चाहिए. Once you are done everything, you would see that it is ready. Now, but this is what it happens because when any engineer sees all these things, he will not really bother about okay, kaisa hua, how the installation happened, kaisa operating system aya, how the operating system got installed. He need not to really worry about, because in the back end the system admin would have already did all this work. So that's the reason many people doesn't know the whole process of how the installation happens, or how the softwares are getting installed, and how the updates goes on the back end. What kind of an agent they have installed in their laptops, they are not aware about. Right? So some of the things, administrative aspect, where any engineers, he could be developer, he could be DevOps engineer, he could be a tester. Many of the people will not be knowing many things because they don't know anything about the system, because in the back end, administrator will have taken care of everything. Now the thing is that what I'm saying, that suppose you said, Rajesh, fine, I understood what you're saying. I'll install everything to my bootable device. You said that I have a pen drive where you have a Ubuntu 24.04 images there. Then what you're going to do with that? You tell me. Okay, man. So now what happened, right? As soon as you plug in your pen drive into the USB slot, and then what you will do that, you will freshly start, or you will freshly reboot your machine. You reboot your laptop. So what happened, right? And then what happened, right? What you can do that, you can go to your BIOS settings and check whether which is the bootable device it is detected. It has detected that your pen drive has been detected. It said that, oh, okay, pen drive is a bootable device. It will detect. Who will detect? Your BIOS will detect. Pen drive is a bootable device. And then what happened, right? You will understand, and okay, you say that, okay, I need to boot this device through the pen drive only. Then you will just say enter. When you hit that option, right? Then what happened, right? Your machine, your laptop will be booted from that pen drive image. After that, what happened, guys? It will ask you some details, like what is the username you want to give it while logging it. It will basically ask for the sudo user. So you say that, okay, my default sudo user, I will keep the name as Ubuntu. Okay, fine. What are the configurations you need, right? How much number of RAM is required for your operating system? What is the hard disk you required? Say, for example, I allocate something like 200 GB is a hard disk is required. So what happened automatically when you say 200 GB of hard disk, it is nothing but 200 GB of SSD hard disk. You say SATA disk actually. It will be an SDI drive actually, SATA disk actually. So then what happened, right? It will consider the whole 200 GB for the slash itself. So slash is nothing but your ultimate file system, or it's a root file system. It will consider the whole 200 GB of the slash partition itself. Then what happened, later will give an option that, okay, you can even partition it also. This 200 GB, what you can do that, you can say that, Rajesh, out of 200 GB, I will take 100 GB, I will keep it for the slash, fine, okay, good. For the slash home, I will keep it like 50 GB, very good. For the slash where, I will give it as a 20 GB, very good. For the slash USR, I will give as a 20 GB, very good. For your swap file system, swap file system, I will give 10 GB. Yeah, very good. So everything together, it will come across, it will come to 200 GB. This is what the different partitions you give. Slash partition, slash home partition, slash var partition, slash OSR partition, and finally swap. You cannot create a separate partition for slash lib. That is not possible. You cannot create a separate partition for slash etc. That is not possible because slash lib, slash etc, all this should be a part of slash only. But remaining home, var, and user, these are three partition which comes under the slash. They can have a separate partition if you want it. Right? So what in the standard in the organization they'll do that, they will give the slash partition a very larger disk space, like 1000 GB they'll give in some server, and they will create a slash home directory, and for that they will give some 1000 GB. This is something a standard procedure where they will create only two partition for slash and slash home. Slash OSR, slash var and all, they will not give any kind of a separate partition for that. And of course for the swap also they will give a separate swap size. So swap size is basically double the RAM size, we say 2 into the RAM size. It will be the swap partition. If your RAM is 16 GB, then swap will be 32 GB. Double the RAM size, they will give it. Always for the swap. Sometime more than that also they'll give based on the requirement. They will try to increase the swap partition also. So this is what something can happen when you are installing Linux, guys. By default, what happened, right? Based on that operating system, it choose to create a first, it will choose to ask you first a sudo user, not directly the root user. In case of Ubuntu, always you will see that it will ask you to give some user, pseudo user only. You can give any name. I'll give my name, Rajesh, I'll give. Or I'll give Ubuntu, or I'll give Rajiv. Whatever the user is there, right? He will try to give his name itself because that will act like a pseudo user. So while the installation is happening, it happens via with the pseudo user itself. Whereas in some other operating system like RHEL, that is Red Hat RHEL, or CentOS, or SUSE Linux, or Amazon Linux. If you are installing by your own, manually you are installing, then it will directly consider root user as the first user and proceed with the installation. Whereas Ubuntu, it will consider the sudo user first. It will consider the sudo user, you give the sudo name and the sudo name password, and then it will proceed with the installation. Whereas some other operating system, it directly takes the root as a root user, and the installation happens after that, providing the root username and the password actually. So at the very beginning itself, it will ask you for the passwords, the usernames and the passwords, and the procedure, the installation will start proceeding actually. So you can do either manually, or either you can do them through networks also. So it means that the image is already there in some big server. If you try to, whenever you try to switch on your laptop, what it will do that it will try to send a message to that server saying that okay, which is the server where the bootable image is there. Okay, try to connect it. That is we call the PXB boot. Actually, PXB boot it will send, and through that it will get a connection. So a connection will get established from your laptop to the server. And what happened? All your image will be downloaded from the server to your laptop, and the installation will start automatically. So why they do all this? Because they want to make the process very simple. A system admin, whenever he want to do installation for 1000 servers, it will not take that much time. He knows that actually I have a PXCB bootable image is there in one of the server. Over the network, I can install any other operating system very quickly and very fastly. Earlier, what happened? You know that long time, like 10 years back, 15 years back, that people used to go and install it manually in every server. It used to consume a lot of time. Suppose a company got some 100 servers, they used to ask, sir, how much time it will take? He will say that, sir, I will take minimum 20 days to complete all the installation. Man, why you need so much time? I need that much servers are there, no? One by one I have to go and install it. But in today's time, you don't have that much of patience. You don't have that much of time to wait for only for installation for 20 days. No, I need an image now only. The installation should get completed in next 10 minutes, they will say. So that kind of a technology has come in today's time, so that by using the technologies, right, in the DevOps, right, basically what happened, you can create an image very fast, a small bootable image, and you can quickly able to boot it, and you can able to make your operating system up and running in just 10 minutes. That kind of a thing that has come into the market today, where you don't have to wait at all. So those days are gone now. 10, 15 years gone. Those old technology is gone now. Now it's everything is faster. That's the reason what happened. This cloud technologies, it could be Amazon, it could be Amazon AWS, or it could be Azure, or it could be GCP. Any cloud, you could see that how you can boot up the image virtual machine very small. In a fraction of 20 seconds, you can able to boot it. How it is so fast actually? Because already a ready-made image is there. A ready-made virtual resource is already there. When you try to allocate, when you try to give all the specification of what is the server you need, what is the RAM memory you need, what is the image you need, what is the networking you have to support, what is the storage. When you're giving some basic inputs as a specification for you to boot a machine, it will take that input and within 10, 15 seconds, you could see that your machine is up and running. And you will see that, okay, you can log into that machine, you'll get a private IP address, you'll get a public IP address, you can see your VPC networking, you can see like, okay, what is my IP address, right? You can do verification of multiple things actually. So how it is happening so fast that because they're having a very, very small bootable image, everything is already there in place. When you try to use that compute for creating it, automatically the cloud will take care of doing all the things at the back end. You need not to worry at all. Is it fine, guys? I know that I was quite fast today, but I have to cover all these things. Any questions so far? Dipali, Himanshu, Karthik? Pankaj? No? Okay. So, yeah, sorry.
No, sir.
Fine, good. Now, if you ask me, Rajesh, can I do that installation, what you're saying? I will show you, man, but I will not immediately promise you to that. I will show it tomorrow only. I'll show in some days, maybe after the end of the Linux completion, right? I will show in 1 or 2 session, like how you can able to create all these things environment in your laptop so that you can have your own operating system in your virtualization software. Like you can either install VMware or Sun VirtualBox, and in that you can have your own Ubuntu or Red Hat or Windows OS. You can have it and you can practice everything. You need not to even have the cloud account also. You can directly boot it, but your system should have very high configuration. Like minimum, I would expect that minimum 16 to 32 GB of RAM should be there. Minimum i5 processor should be there. Okay, and then like minimum, if I'm not wrong, minimum at least I expect at least 1 terabyte with a hard disk is there. Even 512 also you can manage it, but still 1 TB of hard disk is there. And I would say that, okay, your configuration is very good, man. Your laptop is very good. You can able to do all your practice, everything through the virtualized software only. You can do everything through your VMware only. You can do it actually, right? But why we are connecting to the cloud every day and why do we want to do it? Because you will get to used to work on cloud. That's what. It's not only that, Rajesh, why you have to use always cloud. Cloud is something where you will be learning many things in a day-to-day activity. Right. So when you start learning or making your habit to work on the cloud directly every day, right? You will be learning the cloud technology very fast. So that's the reason I would again recommend not to use your virtualized software. Just for your practice, you can install in your laptop. But whenever you're practicing real time in DevOps in any tool, which I'll be covering in the near future, right? Everything, please do practice in your cloud account itself. That is my humble request. Don't do everything in your virtualized OS, which is there in laptop. Don't do that because you'll get stuck in a lot of places. Some networking issue might be there. Some software updates might not happen properly. Right? You will get unnecessary. You will get with some other issues. Your main thing, what you want to learn it, you will get delayed from that actually. So don't do that because cloud will give all the things to you so that you need not to worry. Whatever the tools, technology you want to learn in DevOps, right? You can happily learn everything in a very faster way if you are working everything in a cloud account. I'm not saying that you cannot do it everything in a virtualized software in your laptop. You can do it everything, but there you have to do manually by your own. Networking you have to set up. Make sure that the software updates are properly there in your system. Okay. Then when you're installing any software or through RPM or through M, right? It should install it without any issues actually, right? And your system should be, if it is auto upgrade is required, you can auto upgrade it also, right? So many things are there, guys, where you have to manage it individually by your own. But whereas in cloud, you need not to worry at all because all the things have already been set. You need not to worry at all, right? And the cloud is reality. Cloud is reality because in every organization, everywhere they are using cloud. They are not using any on-premises server. They don't have their own data centers to work on it. They are dependent upon the cloud, and you have to work on the cloud platform only. There's no choice, right? So it is better that you start from the day one onwards to work on cloud itself actually. Clear, sir? Now, coming back here, I know we tangentially went somewhere else, but let us come back here for the Linux user. So Linux user, basically what I said that basically when you create a user accounts, basically you have a user ID, which the 0 is allocated for the root user. Whereas, okay, from 1, 2, 3, up to blah, blah, up to 999, these are used by the system users. So you might ask, Rajesh, is root user is a kind of a system user only? Of course, it's a system user only. Root user is not a normal user. He is a system user only. That's all. 0 is allocated for, as a user ID for the root. And whereas for the 999 till 99, it is all being given for the system user only. Right? How you can check what is the command to check the ID? You have to just execute the command ID, or you can just say echo $EUID or UID. If you execute these two commands, you will be able to see the ID. See, can you see here? Let me log into the Ubuntu server. So I'll copy the public IP, guys. Go back here. I will try to launch the putty. Just say Ubuntu @putty. Sorry, public IP. Appearance change. Make it 16, make it bold, and go to the color settings, default backend, expand the SSH, expand the auth, go to the credentials, go to the browse, just click on the .ppk file, and then just open it. Accept the connection. Yeah. See, Ubuntu is a normal user. So I can just execute command ID and say enter. Can you see here, guys? What is an ID? 1000 is ID is given for the Ubuntu user. He belongs, there's a group by name Ubuntu itself. So group ID is 1000. Groups and many other things are there. These are the things which I'll be discussing later. What are these things? We'll discuss later, not now. So if you execute this command, you're going to get the UID. Or you can say that ID-U. See, it will give you 1000. This. Okay, or it's echo $EUID, effective user ID. It will show us 1000. Am I clear, sir? Okay, now if I switch to the root user and if I execute ID command, can you see the user ID for the root user is 0 always? Or else just say ID-U. It is effective user or echo $EUID. Some people are thinking, Rajesh, what is this EUID? It is in uppercase. Guys, these are all the shell variables. Don't worry about this. We will discuss about the shell variables in a separate topic. Now I think I'll be covering today itself what is this one, or I can just say what is it, echo dollar, and I'll give tap twice. Can you see when I say echo dollar and tap twice, and when I press the button tap twice, it will show me all the shell variables. Most of them are in uppercase only. Some of that in the small case. Don't worry about all these things, but majorly try to think that this uppercase all are shell variables, your bash shell variables. This we call it as an environment variables. Environment variables. Okay, there are two types of variables are there, local variable and environment variable. So local variables are variables which we created, which a user creates it. Whereas an environment variables are those variables which are used within by the shell itself. These are all predefined variables, right? And it has some values into it actually. So all these are shell variables which are in uppercase. Whenever you want to display the shell variables, you have to always use echo dollar and specify that variable name. You will get the output actually. Like echo dollar shell, SHELL, shell. Where is the shell? SHELL. See, if you execute echo dollar shell, it will say that /bin/bash. That means that you are under the bash shell. So for every variable, guys, there is a value. We will discuss about this. What are these variables? What is the value you are going to get? And where do we use these variables also? We will discuss in our upcoming session. Now, here, when I do a cat etc of passwd, okay, pipe it to less, okay, you know about the pipe symbol, right? Less command will show in the page-wise manner. Okay, that's what I say. I can either say less or I can even use more also. So let me use less now, as of now. So when I do a cat of etc passwd pipe it to less, you could see that it will open that file and it will show in the page-wise manner. So can you see here? Root user, yeah. User ID is 0, group ID is 0. Where he'll be logged in? What is the home directory? It is root itself. Sorry, /root itself. And what is the shell he's going to get? He's going to get /bin/bash. After that, you could see that after 0, 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there, 4 is there, 5 is there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that, if you come down up to 999 users will be there actually. Out of 999, after that, from 1000, Ubuntu is given, 1001, Navin is given, 1002, Pankaj is given, 1004, 3, Rajiv is given, 1004, Krishna is given, like that. Serially, one after the other, it will be giving it actually. Now, where you can find all these details, Rajesh, about the IDs and all, like from 0 to 65,535. I think under the etc, there's a defaults.d directory is there. Under that, there is a file. Under the defaults.d directory file, there's one file which I don't remember. That file has this information. It has an info saying that, okay, 0 to 999 is allocated for the normal user. Okay. Okay. After that. Okay. Now, one more thing very important. After creating a user account, add user. Okay. Suppose in yesterday's class, I had created Pankaj user, right? Pankaj user is created, right? Now, after the creation, what Pankaj, where the Pankaj home will be created under home directory, like Pankaj, it will be created like this, right? This is a home directory for Pankaj. It means that as soon as he logs in, the Pankaj logs in, the Pankaj will be able to get a home directory under /home Pankaj like that. He is going to get that. Okay. Now when a Pankaj goes in, right? For example, here, cd sudo su hyphen Pankaj. So you could see that Pankaj is logged in here. See, Pankaj at the rate, right? I switched to the Pankaj user account. When you do a pwd, see, /home Pankaj. Okay, this is the path where Pankaj will be logging and sitting. As soon as Pankaj logs into this machine as a Pankaj user, by default, Pankaj will be logged into this path. And what is the ID for the Pankaj? Effective user ID. It is 1002. Okay, good. What are other things, Rajesh? Apart from after creating an add user, what are the other things? So guys, if you do an ls-a and enter, can you see some files are there? /bash underscore logout, /bash and /profile. So Rajesh, what are these files actually? What are these files when you do ls-a? So guys, these files which you are seeing above are user configuration files. Good, Rajesh. Rajesh, whether the configuration file will be there for every user, okay, because you created some other user also, right? Like for example, I'll exit out from here. I'll go back to the root. I'll just say cat etc password file. You know that Ubuntu is there, Naveen is there. Okay, let me switch to the Naveen. lsfna. Yeah, Naveen also has those configuration file. Okay, let me exit out. Let me switch to the Ubuntu. Ubuntu is Ubuntu is a sudo user. lsfna, yeah, even he also has, but he has some other extra thing, but don't worry. He has a .bash underscore history, .bash underscore logout, .bash rc, .profile, .ssh, okay, .vim info, .sudo access, sudo as admin successful. Some other configuration files are there. What are these? We will see it later. Don't worry. .config file is also there. Very important. We will see it, those things, guys, but don't worry. These are all, we call it as a system level configuration, sorry, user level configuration files. User level configuration file. Rajesh, what about the root user? He's a root user. When I do ls-a, does the root user also has it? Yes, sir. So now what you're understanding that, Rajesh, .bash underscore history, here it is not there. .bash underscore profile, .bash rc, .profile, .sh. These are all some of the configuration file which will be common for all users. These configuration files, these configuration files and folders and directories are common for all users. So in that case, Rajesh, when you created a user account by using the add user command and specify the username Pankaj, during that time, does all these configuration files were copied to the /home Pankaj? Yes, sir, it got copied. Where it copied? From the etc, there is a folder by name, if I'm not wrong, there's a folder by name skill. So this skill, under the skill, these configuration files are there. Like .bash underscore rc, .bash rc, .profile, right? All these configurations files were there. It just tried to copy it from there to the newly home directory /home Pankaj, it got copied. So whenever a user account is getting created, what the add user will do, add user will also try to copy the etc skills. Under skills, there are some configuration files are there. Under that, it will try to copy to the /home Pankaj, /home Naveen, /home Ubuntu. For any user account, it will try to copy it everything into those home directories. So is it possible just to view it? Let us see, guys. etc skill. So directory is there. ls, nothing is there. If you do lsfna, can you see these files? Yeah. So etc skills. Now Could you make out one thing? Right? Sudo add user. I'll create Krishna. Now just watch it, sir. What is happening? Selecting user ID from the range 1000 to 599. See 599. Adding Krishna 1003. Everything. Can you see copying files from etc skills? Yeah. So guys, whenever any command is getting executed, you need to have a sense of understanding that, okay, Rajesh, when you're executing some command, we're getting some output, just glance it. You will be able to understand many things. So I'll give 1, 2, 3, enter, 1, 2, 3, enter. It is asking for giving the full name. I'll say Krishna, room number 101, work phone 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and home something and something, and then say Y. See? You could see that adding new user Krishna to supplement extra group users, adding Krishna to the group users, everything. Now, if I try to do a cat of etc possibility file, can you see here Krishna has been created and the user ID is 1003. Rajesh, can I switch to the Krishna? Yes, sir. No problem. Sudo su hyphen Krishna. See? And I'll say ID hyphen U. See? 1003. ls hyphen A. See? These files are there. So these files, etc bash underscore, sorry, bash underscore logout, bash rc, these are the normal user configuration files. What is user configuration files? We will discuss in some time. When I talk about the shell, we'll talk about this configuration files. So these are the default configuration files where all the user have this configuration files. Rajesh, why we need this configuration files, or what is the use of it? Actually, the shell, your shell, bash shell will use all these configuration files. Okay. So this we call it as a configuration files. Right? These are the configuration. This is called as a user level configuration files. Like that, we have one more configuration files. We call it as a system level configuration files. So those system level configuration files are etc profile. Under etc, there is a bash rc. Under etc profile.d directory. Under etc dir underscore colors if doesn't exist. Under etc, there will be something as input rc. Okay, under etc logout, bash underscore logout, or just say logout, bash underscore logout. So there are many configuration files are there, guys. This we call it as a system level configuration files actually. So when Rajesh, when the system level configuration files are used during boot up time, or I can say that after the boot completes, after the boot process completes, this configuration files are used. This I can say system level configuration files are used. Where it is used and why it is required, do you have to really know about all these things? Yes, sir, we have to know all these things. It is better that we have to have a knowledge on all these things so that we will understand as a system in a better way actually. But does it really help us in our DevOps operation? Yes, directly or indirectly, all this knowledge will help us to learn or understand your DevOps process or your DevOps work in a better way. Right? Okay, guys. Coming back here. I know I took a lot of time today because it's almost like 50 minutes I was discussing this, but this was required actually. Right? This was required. Now, come back here. So that is what we had discussed about the add user. I think I have to cover all these things yesterday only, but somehow I couldn't cover it. Okay. And then like we discussed about what are the different types of shells you have. So shell, bash shell, we decided everything fine, and bash features. Yeah. And the next session we said I will be continuing with the commands. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what it is. So now coming back in today's session, we will try to learn about some more commands actually, guys. Yesterday we just try to understand about your the last command, if I am not wrong, was what is it actually here at the top? Add user only, the last command. Fine. Now, apart from that, I also told you about something about the fdisk, right? If you do a sudo fdisk -l, this will show you all the partitions which there in your system. Can you see here? /dev num v nu nv nep something. It is showing this is a file system. This is a file system. This is a file system. This is an extended boot of file system. This we call as a particularly we call this as a partition actually. We call this as a partition. Okay, and all these partitions are coming from Amazon Elastic Block Storage. all these sizes are coming, or the memories is coming from the block storage itself. So we will try to dig more about this, not exactly now, in some time, after some time, because I need to discuss about all this labeling, what is this label is all about, what is this disk identifier is all about, okay, and what are this block sizes, everything. I think I have already discussed some of the things, but let me elaborately discuss so that we will be able to understand it, and how these file systems are getting created. What I will do that I will take one pen drive, and I'll try to boot that pen drive into the Linux, and in that pen drive only I'll have one space. In that small one place, I'm trying to create a partition, or else in the existing storage only I'll try to allocate a partition, and I'm going to create a file system on it, and I will try to mount that file system to an existing. So some of the things I will show those things, guys, so that you will get to know about how this partition works, how to create a file system onto the partition, and how to manually mount it also. I will show you everything. That is more into an administrative task actually. But anyhow, the DevOps engineer have to know all those process actually, right? Okay. Now, apart from this, guys, like many of the file system has been mounted and up and running. To check it out, how do you do that? You just execute a mount command. When you execute a mount command, it will show that which are all the file system which have been mounted. Can you see here? /dev n1p1. Can you see n1p1? This is nothing but your slash partition actually. So this partition, it is mounted onto the slash actually. And the file system what they're using is ext4 file system, and these are all the feature of that file system. See, feature of the ext4 is it has a read write mode, it has a real-time mode. If there is any kind of a discard, it has to discard it. Error is going to remount RO. If there is any error come to the disk, actually you can remount that disk to any other partition or to any other directory, right? And some of the other things like commit 30. So these are all the feature about the ext4 file system. So apart from this, guys, there are so many other things which have been mounted, like dev, tempfs, proc file system, sys file system, security fs, tempfs. If you ask me broadly, Rajesh, what are these things, Rajesh? Guys, these are all nothing but these are all the virtual file system which has been mounted actually, which have been mounted. So does our system, Linux system, uses all this virtual file system on fly? Yes, sir, it uses on fly. We are not directly accessing this file system. Which are the file system which we can access? These are the disk, right? These are the disk. We have a control over the, we have a control. I can access all this file system directly because these are all the disk based partition. It is created on the disk, whereas many other file systems which are there in memory, I cannot do anything with the file system which is mounted in memory. Like proc file system is mounted into the memory. Sys file system is mounted to the memory. Security is I cannot do anything, but internally your operating system will use all this network-based mounted file system. It internally uses, but whereas an end user, he don't have an access it, he don't have control on that actually. If you ask me, Rajesh, can I mount a proc to some other directory and try to play around to doing anything? No, sir, you cannot do all those things. Can I mount the sysfs somewhere? You cannot. You don't have control to mount it, sir. So this we call it something like a special file system. Whereas this one /dev, which has been mounted slash, right? This is a disk file system. See, this is the disk partition, right? And this has been mounted. This file system has been mounted onto the slash. Similarly, can you see the /var lib snapd /var /dev? You could see that /dev nvm 0n1 p16. Can you see p16? Where is p16? See, this is one partition. So what is this extended boot partition? But what is this extended boot partition all about? It is a /boot partition. Okay, here you have a bootable device. So, and the type is ext4, and it has very less features like read write and real time. Whereas other things like it doesn't have all these features. So because it doesn't need it, the /boot doesn't need all the other features. Only a basic minimal feature is required. That's what they have allocated for the /boot partition. Like this way, guys, by executing the mount command, you'll be able to see what are all the file system which has been mounted in your system. So mount command will give you all the file system mounted in your machine or in your operating system or in your kernel. So we have various different file system, right? Disk based file system is there. And you have something like a special file system. Special file system, we can even call it as a virtual file system. Virtual file system is this file system doesn't reside on the disk. This file system doesn't reside on the disk, but whenever the system or the kernel gets booted booted up, automatically many file system will get mounted into the memory, and they are called as virtual file system. Example, proc file system, sys file system, okay, temp file system, and so on. Is it fine, sir? So mount is a command, but exactly how you are going to get all those information under etc, I think there is a mount fs is there, if I'm not wrong. Let's see, or else we have one thing, what is it, sudo cat of etc mount etc fs tab. No, it sudo cat of etc mount fs. What is it? Or is it mount or which one? I've forgotten. Not mount. FS tab. No, FS tab will give you the disk files. I mean, it will give you the existing file system where to be mounted, particularly mostly our disk only. But there is one more file is there, which is that, man, I have forgotten it. Under etc, there is one file is there. Through that only your mount command is actually executing. Your mount command will look into that file under the etc, and then only it is showing you this content actually. Not sure. I'll just check it out, man. So it's been long back, right? Since I didn't work on this everything. So I have forgotten it, but there is one file is there. From that only the mount command will look and it will show you. Okay, fine. Apart from this, guys, what are the things you have? You have sudo df-h. I think I already showed in last class also, but still. So this file system will show you, this command will show you some more information. Like what is the file system? Where is the mount point? What is the size of that file system? What is the used and what is available and what is the percentage? This is something which is very important. Most of the time we will be going to execute this command to see it, how much number of partition percentage of is been filled in that disk actually. He could see that on the slash only 36% of the disk is used. So out of 6.8 GB, only 2.4 GB is used, 4.3 GB is available. So 36% of the total disk is been consumed so far. So it means that with this, you will get an idea, okay, this disk is not full actually. Whenever the disk full is there, it will show here as 100%. It means that you cannot write anything into the disk because it has gone to the 100%. So you need to either increase the disk size or else you have to go and remove all those unwanted files which is there. Like under the temp directory, there are so many unwanted files are there. You can do some kind of a caching and you can remove all those files. And you can bring back the disk into some threshold so that you can start using that disk. So this is also one of the common troubleshooting issue where in the industry, a lot of people will work on it based on the ticketing, right? Some of the file system will get a disk completely because a lot of logs will be keep filling up. You could see that you would have started some application and went off. In the weekend, what happened? That application is running, but it is generating so many logs, GBs of logs. And when you come back on Monday, you'll see that this will be 100%. And you will see that that system is not at all responding to at all. Right? Even your application will go down because while logging in, it doesn't know where to log in because almost the disk is complete, right? 100% it is used, right? Still the application running in the background. So now what you will do that you'll first stop that application. Okay, you'll kill that application which is running because you got to know that it is generating so many logs. Let me first stop it. And you go to the disk, let me check what is the disk space available. You will see 100%. Now what you will do that you will try to go and remove all those unwanted log files which are in GBs of files, and then you will restore back the disk. And now you will start tracing why that application is logging so many big files, why it was generating so many logs, and why during the weekend so many GBs of hundreds of GBs of logs were generated. You will analyze it. Finally, you will give that report to the developer. You say that this is what you have analyzed it, and the developer will go and fix that issue. Right? Is it fine, guys? Right. Yeah. Sometime what happens, the disk will not be properly mounted because there might be some corruption in your disk. It happens. Sometime what happens, the disk might have gone crashed actually, right? Where you'll not get a proper response, right? So it could be many things. Either your disk might be crashed, or maybe there might be some corrupted sector in that partition where due to which what happened, right? Your disk is not properly responding to you, right? Or else what happened, right? Sometime suppose for example, I can say that due to one file corrupter, right? Because it occupies some bad sectors actually, it will not allow to do any IO operation properly into the disk actually. So you need to do some kind of a repair to that disk actually. You need to go and remove that bad sector. So we'll try to go and try to run the fsck check program. Fsck command when you run it, it will try to check and it will try to do repair job of that corrupted disk part or else corrupted sector also. It will try to repair it actually, right? So many things are there, guys, where you can do some triaging issue when it comes to disk space or disk allocation issue, or else into the disk itself or into the partition itself if it get corrupted, right? How to recover it, what, how to extend your disk partitions, how to reduce the disk partition. So when you learn about the logical volume manager, right? We call it LVM. And when you try to learn about the rate concept, you will be learning in a better way. All those logical volume concept you will learn. And logical volume concept is one which is actually used in industry. We don't use a physical. We always implement, we try to have a LVMs. And through the LVMs, we try to create the volume groups, and then we will try to create the physical volume. PVs we create. From the VGs, we create the PVs. That's how it happens. And there are so many softwares are there which supports all this. Like we have Veritas VFS file system is there. Semantics, semantic CFS file system is there, where you can create a CVM, CVX partitions you can create it. So in Linux, we can create an LVM and we can create a logical volumes and all we can create it. And also, as well as we can implement the RAID concept. So there are so many technologies are there related to the disk storage and the disk specification. You can either go with the companies usually go with the Veritas, or we'll go with the semantics, CFS or CXVMs actually, like that. It depends upon the organization, right? Okay, good. Now, what are the other commands you have, Rajesh, apart from fdisk and all? I think we discussed about the free-m. This will show the RAM size and the swap size, right? And I will tell you the commands like later, like how you can remove this buffer cache and how you can remove that some space allocated by your cache itself. How to remove it, I will show you some commands. That's an interesting command to clear out of some of the cache memories also, right? Okay. Now, whenever you have a file actually, or whenever you have a directory, basically is what you do, we'll try to check the size of that file actually, right? For example, Alice is there. If you try to do du -h means human representation, okay, human representation, S means summary, okay, and I'll say Alice, enter. Can you see here? It shows me the 4K size. Similarly, Rajesh, can I check what is the etc folder directory structure, the size of the directory? Yeah. It almost say that, okay, you have a 6.3. It is showing you cannot read it because you have to add a sudo command. So whenever you are using, guys, whenever you are executing any command which are related to super user, always please make a habit of using sudo first and then the command actually. So you will not get this permission denied error. You won't get it if you use a sudo command. Always you try to use a sudo command before the command, so that you are running that command with the super privilege mode actually, with the sudo's permission or with the super privilege mode. So always make a habit of running all the command with the sudo only from now, because in the organization anyhow we won't get the root access, and we will be given, most of the time we will be given a sudo's user account only. Please try to run all the commands with the sudo command itself. Right? Even I should run sudo fdisk-l. I need to run sudo free-m command. See, you can run all the command with the help of a sudo. That will run that command in a super privilege mode or in a root permission mode. It will run it actually. Am I clear, sir? Till here? Yes, very good. Now, sometime, so guys, now we have seen many times that we are running some cat command to display the content of the file. Yes, cat command is always used. Cat of etc password. So cat command will display the file content. Always use a cat command, or else we directly use the vi command to open the file. So vi I have not yet come into the thing, guys. We will see the vi editor, everything in tomorrow session. So vi is one of the editor. So where you can open that file, right? And then like you can open that file, you can go through the content of the file. Guys, 1 second, guys. Yeah, okay, fine. And then like you can open, you can go through, you can scroll up and down within the file. And whenever you want to come out, whenever you want to exit, what you do that, you will say shift:/q and exclamatory. Forcibly quit from the file. Forcibly quit from the file. Yeah. Correct, Karthik. Fine. So I can use cat command. So whenever we want to display the line number, I think I have to use a cat-n option, etc password file, and say enter. Can you see that it will display the line number actually? It will display the line number. Cat command is also used for creating a file also. I think I already told you, but you have to say cat double greater than, and I have to use John and say enter. It is asking you to give some input. So I'll say hi, bye. And I have to say control D. So then if you do ls, can you see there's a John file got created. So cat of John, if you do it right, you could see able to see the text inside that file. So cat command will also use for creating a file also by using this cat double greater than, specify the file name, then start entering the text, and after that you have to say control D. You have to come out from that file, right? You have to come out from that giving input, right? When you do a control D, you are interrupting, you are terminating that, and when you come out, automatically this file will get created. Okay, fine, guys. Okay, cat is okay. Now, echo command also we have used many times, right? Echo command is basically used to display the string, guys. It is something like in C, or we have printf. In something in C++, we have cout, right? In case of HTML language, you use a put actually, right? Right? And in case of a Python, we use something as a print actually. So this is something echo is in bash shell. It is used for displaying the string. Like if I say echo, hello everyone. See, it will display whatever you are given as a text actually to the standard output, which is not but screen or the monitor. You will say that Rajesh, if I say echo, hello everyone, if I try to redirect to a file, like for example, file 7 or file 8, whatever, file 7, right? See, the output of the hello everyone will be redirected to the 7 file. So you will not display here actually, it will be redirected to this file because you're using the redirection operator, right? So if you just run without a redirection operator, obviously what happened, right? It will try to display it actually. So whenever you use echo command will print in a new line, and your prompt will start to put prompting for the next line onwards actually. By default, it will try to print in a new line only, echo command. If you don't want to print in a new line, you have to use same thing, echo-n. I think it will print in the same line if I'm not wrong. Yeah, you could see that it will print in the same line. Not to print a new line. But we don't want it always, right? So why you have to use -n? So without -n only we'll use it, right? Right? That's all. Right? So now what happened, right? Echo command has a lot of escape characters, right? For example, escape characters like or we call the file globbing characters, escape characters. Like you might have seen that we use for example, characters, like for example, /a, /b, /a, right? These are something called not file blocking characters, because escape characters. Like you have a /a, we have /b for blank space, /b for blank space. Come on, blank space, /t for tab. Actually, we have so many escape characters. Can we use all those escape characters along with the echo? Yes, we can use it, sir. But to use escape characters, we have to use always -e option, right? For example, if I say echo red hat Linux, enter, enter, you will see that you will find this output. But you say that Rajesh, I want to print these 3 different words in 3 different lines. Yeah, then what to do? So you'll use some escape characters or known as a new line option, /n. But to make it effect, see if you run like this, it will be printed automatically like it is considered as a string only. But you say that Rajesh, I want to interpret as a new line, then you have to use a -e option. See, now it will print in all these 3 different words will be printed in 3 different lines. There you could see that there are some spaces are there here, right? There are some spaces. You can remove this as a blank space. So what you will do that you will come here, you will try to do a /b, and you will try to do /b like this. You are removing the blank spaces here like this. So whenever you're using any escape characters like /n, /t, /b, /a, anything, you have to always use a -e option along with the echo command. Is it fine, guys? So far, so good? Dipali? Krishna? Naveen, any question you have, guys?
No, Rajesh.
Journaling concept is also important, right, Rajesh?
Journaling is in a file system, sir. Yes, that's in a file system. Whenever
Yeah.
you want to recover the file which have been deleted file and right, you have a journaling factors there. Where what happened, right? Uh, uh, when you create a file system, automatically journal will also be configured along with the ext4 or ext file system. When you do a debug FS,
Yes.
right, you'll be able to recover back any kind of a deleted file.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, right. Okay. Now, hyphen E means actually expression, man. Whenever using the slash n slash b slash t escape characters, right, you have to use the hyphen E option. Without using hyphen E option, you could see that it is not interpreting that slash a, slash b and slash t, right, slash n whatever, right. If without doing using this, it doesn't interpret at all. You have to use a hyphen E option to interpret it properly. Is it fine, guys? Good. Okay. Now, so one important thing, guys, in Bash shell, actually, see, whenever we are, see, there are some special characters are there. Like for example, you have something known as a question mark, actually. Okay. Okay. So question mark will give you the exit status. Of exit status of last executed command. So whenever the shell executes any command successfully, the return value will be 0 always. Suppose if I'm executing any command like ls command, say enter. ls is successfully executed by your shell, by your bash shell. When I do a echo dollar of question mark, it will return 0. So it says that what are the last command which you have executed that has executed successfully. If you execute any command like this, it says the command not found. So it means that shell has not executed command. Shell has thrown an error, right? There is an error actually. When I try to execute echo dollar question mark, it will return apart from 0, any other positive integer value it will show you. Like it will show something like 127. So 127 is an exit error status of command not found. The exit status of the command not found is nothing but the value is 127. For 0, it is always success. So always what happened, right? There is a value from 0 to 255. 0 means success. 1 to 255 exit error codes. Okay, error codes. Error codes are available. So in that you saw that 127 is the error code state for command not found. Like that we have error code 1, exit code 1, exit code 2, exit code 3. These are all exit error codes actually. 1 to 255. 0 is always success. But the same thing in Ulta, in API or in system calls in Linux kernel, it's Ulta actually. There also what happened, right? You have a status code from 0 to 255. 0 is always failure. 1 to 255 is always success actually. There. Where it is actually when you are working on APIs in particular on Linux or the Linux system calls, right? There, these are the standard exit error codes actually. So always 0 is not a failure there, and 1 to 255 is a success return value. So this is nothing what we call as a return status value say. So when 0 is written, it means it is success. When 1 and 255 is returned by the shell, it means that it is an exit error code. It's an error code. So one of the error code what you saw is 127 command not found. Like that way you can just say bash shell exit error codes. Guys, I told you that I will be showing you some prompt engineering and I'll be taking 1 or 2 sessions. I will, you please remind me after some time, maybe after completion of Linux, right? Before we start for Git, you please remind that Rajesh take the 2 sessions on that prompt engineering where, using the AI tool or ChatGPT, how we can better search, how that tools can be effectively used by the DevOps engineer. You please let me know. You please know one day before, or I mean, you let me know. I will take that session, guys. That will be very good session for all of us. Okay. Sorry, I thought I will cover that at the very beginning, but somehow we started getting into the soon, right? Into the Linux, right? I need at least actually. So echo $0. I need a table actually. Yeah, 0 is for success. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 55. 127 problem, the path resolution, command not found. See, this is what you're getting for 127. There is one more list is there, guys, big one. I will give the link where you'll get for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 255. All error exit status code you'll get it actually. So these are exit status code for your bash shell actually. Bash exit code with the meanings they're saying actually. Okay. So go to this link. Okay, guys. Good. Okay. Now, okay. What are the other things we have, guys? So we have commands like if config command. If I execute the if config command, it will show you the IP address of my system. Now, whenever you see if config command, guys, you will see so many interfaces. This we call it as a network interfaces like EN5, sorry, ENS5. It is one of the network interface. Loopback address, LO means it is one of the interface. So by default, when you have a system, by default, loopback interface will always be there, right? And whenever you have any kind of a network card which is there in your system, or whenever you are having a network card which is there in your system, right? Right. For example, you have a D-Link network card is there, right? In your system, D-Link network card is there, right? Images. If you go to the images, this is how the looks. This is the network card. This will be there inside your RAM memory. I mean, inside your system actually, in your you can say inside your laptop, or inside in your desktop machines, right? You'll be having this card, network card, or RTL 8139 network card, RTL 8139 network card. There are so many different types of cards are there. So this is RTL network cards actually. So any one of the network card will be there. So when you have a network card, guys, each and every network card, how the Linux understand that network interface or the card with the help of this name actually, ENS5. Like for example, sometime you will have this network interface card in your organization, like something like ETH0 or as ETH1 or as ETH2. Like this, the network interface naming will be there. Here it is ENS5. It is there. So you'll be able to understand the networking everything with the help of this network interface only. This is a network interface name actually. Okay. Now you are having so many information, guys, but here what happened, right? You have some information like, for example, INET. This is the IP address. This is a private IP address of that network card. It means that whenever you have a network card, right, what happened, a private IP address will be assigned to your system. This will act like a private IP address. Okay, this is the net mask. This is the broadcast IP address. MTU, maximum transfer unit. In each and every packet, when your network card is sending a packet to the outside world, each and every packet can have maximum of 1001 byte, or maximum of, sorry, 9000 bytes. You can have maximum. We call it as an MTU, maximum transferable unit. Right? It is configurable also. Some people can even send 16,000 bytes in one packet, but that is not recommendable. Okay, but you can increase that window size. You can increase the window size. How to increase it? Again, there are some commands are there. I will tell you that also later, not now. That which command through which you can even increase the MTU, maximum transfer unit size also. But what are the default it gives, right? Let it be as it is. Don't try to increase the MTU. Apart from this, there is one more important things, which is nothing but your MAC address. So where is the MAC address, guys? This is nothing but your INET6, IPv6 address. And this is nothing but your MAC address. MAC address means for every card, there will be an address actually. A 128-bit address will be there, and this is that MAC address actually. So either you can communicate with your network card with the help of your IP address, or you can even communicate with the help of your MAC address also. But MAC address usually generally we don't communicate from one device to other device with the help of a MAC address. Even though you can do it, it's not recommendable to do. Always we try to reach out from one machine to other machine with the help of a private IP address only. And apart from this, it has some statistical other information like how number of packets have been sent, how number of packets have been transmitted, received, everything, how many number of packets have been dropped so far, what is the collision number, how many packets have been collisions, everything. It'll give you some statistical information about these things, which we need not to worry as of now. You have to just understand, okay, there is something about the IP address, about the MTU, about the net mask, subnet mask, broadcast, and the interface, nothing but the MAC address, right? These are certain things which you have to keep information. That's all. Apart from this, you might have so many other interfaces in your machine actually, like ENS5 is there. You might have ENS6, ENX7, ENX8. Oh, it means that in your system you are having more than one network card. Maybe some 4 to 5 network cards are there. Okay, because your server might be handling very large, big application servers like WebLogic, Oracle WebLogic servers, it might be using it, where it needs more and more IP addresses. So for that reason, what happened, right? You might have installed a lot of network cards in your same server. So in the same server. So why it, again, it depends upon the need basis. If your project needs more and more IP addresses, by having a dedicated physical IP addresses, you need it actually, because you have configured a very big WebLogic clustering thing actually, where you need a you need a lot of free IP addresses for something like for the separate IP address for the heartbeat IP address, separate for the data line, separate for the pre-checking. Then what happened, right? You will have a lot of IP addresses. Hence, what happened? You will have more than 2, 3 cards in the same server. And you have a cluster of servers, means like 4, 5 servers are there in the same cluster. Every server will have the same number of cards. If one server is having 3 network cards, even the second server, third, fourth server, all the servers will be having same number of cards actually, because they are running some complex projects in their environment. That's what they need, so many IP addresses. Hence, what happened? Every server will have more than one network card. So like that, you will have more than one network interface will be there in each and every server if you execute this if config command actually. So one question comes, is there any other command, guys, apart from ifconfig, where you can actually get the IP addresses or something like that? ipconfig? No, this is works in Windows actually. ipconfig. Any other command is there, guys? Apart from this, we have something mtr, not mtr. mtr is for the ping actually. mtr command. Okay, I think I'm just slipping from my mind. There's one more command is there. Yeah, IP-A. Yeah, IP-A. Yeah, IP command. Yeah, IP. What is that? IP command, right? Yeah, IP also will give you the IP address of the machine. Yeah, this is the command which I was looking for. Right? Good. Thank you. Now, okay, guys. So echo dollar question mark will give you the exit status of the last executed command, right? Echo dollar question mark will give you the exit status of the last executed command. So whenever the shell execute any command successfully, always the return value will be 0. Apart from 0, any positive integer value like 0, 1, 2, 255, all are error values. And they, based on the exit error codes, it will try to determine what kind of error it is, and it will throw with that value. Like 127, it shows that it says that command not found, right? Similarly, you have 1, you have 2, you have 3, like that. It will show you with the exit error code actually. Okay, guys. Good. Now, okay, so there are many other commands are there, guys. Like for example, I need to cover the network-based command. I think tomorrow I'll be doing it, not now. Network-based commands, and you have something known as a find command, grep command, set command, awk command. This I'll be doing it tomorrow early morning class. Tomorrow's morning session I'll do it actually. Okay, and also like we need to learn about the bash features, right? We will try to learn that in some time now, or else shall we continue tomorrow only? What do you say, guys? Because these are things which I have to cover in tomorrow's session, because once we started, and after that, like let us try to understand how to write any program, like how to write a simple C program, compile the program and run it. How to write simple bash shell script and run it. We have to check even this also. Okay, so shall we see this one and then get into this commands everything tomorrow? Let us try to complete this one now, right? It'll take another 15 minutes more to complete this. We'll get a small idea about something, about what is compiling is all about, how do you run the program. Plus also we'll write a small bash shell, very small, 2-3 lines of shell, and run it, so that we'll get some complete idea about all these things. Okay, then tomorrow morning we'll freshly come and we'll try to cover all these commands, network commands, everything, as well as the bash features, everything. We'll be able to cover it in a nice way in tomorrow's session. There are many commands are there, guys. Like for example, you have a cut command is there, t command is there, xargs command is there. No, the commands is never ending. I mean, I might miss some commands also, no problem. But over the every session, right, some of the other commands will come into our picture where we have to execute that command. Then and there only you will learn all these commands. But as I said earlier, like some of the commands, like minimum some 20 to 25 commands should be there in your in your tip of your hand, so that you will start working on a system in an effective way. Yeah, M-time, NetStat. Yeah, M-time, NetStat and all, I will try to cover in the networking based actually, man. Okay. NetStat is there, and many SAR command is there. Like, many commands are there. Some 20 commands are there. Around 20 commands related to networking only. We will cover it in tomorrow. Right? Fine, guys. Now let us try to see how to write a simple program. I can write a C or C++ program or anything Java program. But let me try to write a very simple hello world program in C and try to run it. In upcoming sessions, I'll show you how to write a simple program in Java, how to write a simple program in Node.js, how to run it, how to write a simple program in PHP and run it, so that we'll get some feeling about, okay, how we can write it. I mean, we are not becoming a developer, but just want to feel like, okay, this is how it runs it actually. And later we'll also try to learn about the build process, how to build a very complex projects and all. If you take Java, if you get .NET based applications, right, how to build it and all, we'll also see even those things also. We have to see it. But let us try to today learn a very simple way of writing a simple C program, and then compile and run that program. Let us see now. Okay. So guys, whenever you write any program, always extension plays a very vital role, because when you write a program, like for example, I'm writing C program, I'll just say something like first.c. So that's a program, or hello.c is a program. So always you have to always give an extension. Extension plays a very vital role. Whenever you write any kind of a Python program, you just say hello.py. Whenever you write any kind of a C++, hello.cpp. Whenever you write any program with a Java, you will say Java, hello.java. So always the file which is having extension, right? We need to always provide an extension, because your interpreter or nothing but your compiler will understand what type of file it is. So based on the extension also, it understands, okay, this is a certain kind of a file actually. But though Linux says that it is not really required for you to give extension, but still for a human representation, for us, it is always better that we represent the type of file with the extension also. So when I'm writing a C program, I will write something like hello.c. I'll give the name like this. So don't worry about how I write the program. Just try to watch what I'm doing. I mean, what I'm doing it out. Yeah, I mean, of course, like apart from this, we have to even cover the editor. Yeah, I'll spend some half an hour or so tomorrow to learn about the editor, because all of you have to start working on the machine with help by working on editor only. Okay, so now what I will do that, guys, I will try to show the editor now itself. So I will say hello.c. So what I will do that, I will just say vi. Some people use vim also like this, no problem. We can use either vi or vim. Okay, because when you try to do a vim, actually when you do an alias, you could see that vim will be alias to the vi itself, but here it has not been aliased. Okay, so in some companies they were aliased the vim to the vi itself actually. Okay, with some coloring effect actually, with some coloring they would have they would have set the alias, but we are not doing all those things in here. I'll just directly use vi hello.c and say enter. So you open a file, you could see that the file, a new file, it has been opened. You have to get inside, you have to start typing inside a file. You have to get insert into the insert mode, we say. So basically what happened, guys, the VI editor, it gives three modes actually. Command mode, insert mode, and X mode. These are three modes where the VI editor provide. Command mode is something where we are in a command line. See here, we are in a command. This is a command mode actually. Now what happened? I'll open a file, vi hello.c. You are in a command mode actually. You are in a command mode. Now let's say enter. you have got inside the file. You got inside the file. You're into the inside the file now. You're inside the file now. You are inside the file, or you can say that you can say that you or you can say that or you can say that you have opened the file. That's all. That is in a command mode. So whenever I want to type any text inside the file, you have to get into the insert mode. How do you insert the insert mode? You can either press I button, or either you can press the A button, or either you can press the O button. There are so many buttons are there. You can enter it, but usually we do always I. It will go to the insert mode. So I'll press I, insert mode, and then like I will just type some program. Don't worry about all these things. What I'm doing now. These are some header files I'm including. Simple, guys. Simple program. I think, yeah, no. Okay, hello world, simple program. So you have written everything into the file actually. Now you have to save this file. You have to just come out from the insert mode, say shift colon WQ exclamatory, save and quit the file forcibly. So I open the file, write some text inside the file. After that, I would say shift colon WQ exclamatory. Some people will do some people in the X mode, what they do that whenever you want to save the file and quit from the file, you use the X mode, use always colon, shift colon WQ. Some people will say shift colon WQ exclamatory. Some people will do shift colon X. Some people will do shift colon X exclamatory. That also save and quit it. And sometime you can even do shift. You have to press the button shift, and you have to press the Z button twice. If you do a shift double that will also do a save and quit also. Shift double Z will also do save and quit. You can do any method. See, I can even go and open the file. I can even use a shift colon X and say enter. It will also save and quit it. Or I can even open the file. I can say shift colon X, X and exclamatory. Forcibly save and quit from the file. So you can use any of this method. Or I can open this. You can say I'll press the shift and they'll say ZZ twice. See, that also save and quit it. Okay, so these are all the X mode options actually, right? X mode options. It means that whenever you want to save the file, you have to be in X mode. You have to come out from the insert mode and then save the file with the help of X mode. X mode will always start with a colon. And then these are the different methods to save and quit from the file. And whenever you don't want to save it, you have to just quit it. You have to say shift colon Q, just quit it, or shift colon Q exclamatory. This will forcibly save and quit it. So not save, just quit it, forcibly quit it, right? So like that, we use it actually. Okay, guys. So now I saved and quit it, guys. I saved the file and quit from the file, right? I think I've did some mistake, right? I have to use, yeah, I think square and circular bracket only. Yeah. So I have to compile the program. So I use the command gcc hello world.c. So GCC command is not there, guys. That's why you have to install this package. So just say sudo apt update semicolon. Okay, I'll just say sudo apt install GCC. So if you, whenever you want to run multiple commands in the same command line, we execute that command, and then you give semicolon and then execute the other command. So in this way, what happened? First, what the shell will do, it will execute this command. Once this command is successfully completed, then it will try to execute this command like this, right? So always we use this semicolon lot because you want to run more than one command. So like this, something like this. ls semicolon date semicolon who. See, you can run all the three commands. ls, then date command is executed. This is the date command output, and this last one is a who command output. Same thing I'll just doing sudo apt update semicolon, then say sudo apt install gcc-y and say enter. Okay, guys, so that it has installed even the GCC package also, right? Now what I will do that I'll just try to clean the screen. Okay, and just say GCC, and I'll just say hello.c and say enter. So if you do a hello.c, can you see a file when a.out has come? This is a assembler output, or this is the output file you got. You can run that program by using /a.out and say enter. So you can run that program. You could see that the hello world is getting displayed. So this is a very simple process, guys. So what usually is happening is that actually that you are having a GCC compiler. This is a compiler we say. Okay, and the name is GCC, GNU compiler collect. We say GNU compiler collect. Right. Now what happened, right? You are giving an input to this compiler. What is the input you are giving, guys? You are giving an input of hello.c program. So what the compiler has did, that compiler has given an output to an executable output to you. That is something we call as an a.out program. A.out. And a user can execute that program by using /a.out like this. Right. Now in the C program, okay, you have included some of the header files. You have used some logics. Like for example, you will use some programming construct like if condition, if else condition. You will use some kind of a looping. Actually you will something like a structures you will be using something like a function. These are all programming constructs you will be using in every language you use it actually. Okay, similarly in Python also you'll be using same thing. You will be importing some models, importing the models actually. Like for example, import OS you will do like this. Okay, and you will be using some programming construct like if then else, right? And then like basically you run the program like that. So this is the common thing in every language. You have to only understand the what happened, right? The programming constructs you have to learn. What do you guys? The programming constructs you have to learn. Come on, what happened? You have to only learn the man. What happened, man? Something happened. I'm not able to write it down. Okay. So you need to learn some programming construct, guys. Once you learn it actually, then what happened, right? You will be able to understand how to write a program, and whether that program is a compilable or a non-compilable, that you will see later. So since C is a programming language, so C or C++, it needs a compiler to compile. Similarly, Java needs a compiler to compile, right? PHP doesn't need it. Python doesn't need it. Node.js doesn't need it actually. It doesn't need any kind of a compiler. You can write a program, directly run that program. But internet compiles and it runs it, but you need not to specifically do any compilation. But for the Java program, for a .NET program, or else for your C, C++ program, or any language program, a compiler is required. A compiler is required. And compiler does many operations, many things, guys, actually. Right? Oh, man, sorry, man. I think I did. So compiler does many things, guys. Compiler does the pre-processing, right? And then like it will try after the pre-processing, it actually does the actual compiling. So actual compiling is done, which we call it as a what do you call? It will generate an object file, and that object file will be added with the libraries you to get a executable file. And here the executable file is a.out file. The same thing happens actually in Java program also. Whenever you try to write a Java program, you have a hello.java. Okay, it needs all dependencies, libraries, right? And it needs an actual compiling. For actual compiling, it needs something like a Java virtual machine, JVM, we say. After it, what happened, right? It will be linked to the libraries, which we call as a dynamic libraries, actually. Dynamic libraries. You to finally get a file with the something known as if you have a hello.java, you will get a file something like hello itself you will get actually. So, right, and hello, and you can run that program by using Java command, java-jar, and specify that executable file. You'll be able to run that program. Right. So now, who does all this dependency check, compiling, linking, and everything? Your JVM or the Java virtual machine will only able to do all these things. Similarly, who will does a pre-processing, compiling the program and creating these object files, linking with the libraries and getting the header out? The compiler will do all these operations. So compile is a program. What it will do that it will try to compile the program. It will try to compile the program which is in high level language. Like for example, the program might be in a C language or C++ or Java language, any high language or .NET based language, .NET. So what the compiler will do, the compiler will compile this program which is in a high language. It will try to compile the program and it is going to get the output in a machine understandable language. Or we call it as a assembly level language. That's how it does it actually. And we are getting an error out file and you can run the program. Right? Is it fine, guys? So here you could see that actually, like when you try to compile the program, I did a hello.c and it created this file. Suppose if I try to remove this file, rm-f, removing the file. See, you have removed the file. Again, you do a gcc hello.c, enter and say ls. Could you see that you got an a.out program? You say that Rajesh, I don't want this a.out program. What you can do, I want with some other name. Let me remove this a.out file. Let me create gcc -o option. I need to get an output of a file with the name Raj as an executable, and which is the file hello.c. Instead of you getting a.out now, you will get an executable by name Raj. See, can you see Raj? Yeah, it has created. So when I said /Raj and say enter, it will run the program. Most of the compiler and everything, it has its options, -o option. Output format, you don't want the normal a.out file, you want with your own name or with some other name, we use -o option. So why it is required, guys? Yeah, we will be understanding now why all these things are required in the near future, because we will be learning Python, we'll be learning shell scripting. Yeah, we need to understand all these things. So let us try to make a habit of writing a program from the day one onwards now, so that we will get to used to write a program and compile, not compile, run the program, triage the script or triage the program or triage the script. So you need to get into habit of doing it, because it will greatly help you to keep yourself, it's not keep yourself, it will make you to learn all those automation techniques in the near future. Am I clear, sir? So guys, with this we'll stop it. What we are going to do tomorrow, that in tomorrow morning session, I will try to write a simple bash shell script. We'll see it. And after that, once you run it, I will show you how to run it. And then we'll get back to these commands, everything. And VATR and bash features. And in the tomorrow's evening class, let us try to understand about what are these bash shell scripts, how to write a simple bash shell script and all. Or else let me check whether I'll be able to do SSH user management and networking stuff. Some of the things I will cover in tomorrow's evening session. Sunday session, we will try to start with the shell script. I'll also plan to take this Monday also, guys. Monday also I will try to take a class, because I have to cover all these topics quickly. That's what I will try to stretch even on Monday also. Sunday, let us have a morning session. Evening, we can skip it, because evening let us try to keep for our family time. Okay. Monday, we will again have a 7 p.m. IST class. So if most of them are okay, I will take the class on Monday also. Is it fine, guys?
Yes, Rajesh.
Thank you, guys. Then we will stop it here itself today, and we will try to have a class tomorrow morning. So tomorrow Saturday, right? So let us try to connect at morning tomorrow Saturday. Next class tomorrow. What time, guys? Saturday morning, 9 a.m. IST. So 9 a.m. to 10:30, I will take the class. And tomorrow's evening, we'll discuss in tomorrow's morning session. At the end of the tomorrow's morning session, we'll also discuss about the tomorrow's evening session, because tomorrow evening session, I think we can take at same timing, 6 o'clock only, right? 6 a.m., 6 p.m. IST to 7:30 p.m. IST. We'll take the class we'll take evening class at that time. Is it fine, guys? So today, guys, you understood roughly about what is a installation part and everything. Something we learned. We learned about what is a add user command does, what are the internet does, everything, and we learned about some of the configuration files. What configuration files will be called up, right? When you're creating user accounts, we learned about what is effective user ID or ID. We checked, right, and also we try to learn about the exit status error code, and finally we learned about how to write a simple C program and compile and execute it. This is what we covered in today's session, right? Good, guys, good going on. So we'll try to cover much more things in our conversations. Okay. Thank you then. With that, we will stop today's session. Let me stop the recording. Oh man, where is it? Okay, yeah, got it.